Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the January Oak Hills Park Authority meeting held on January 16th. Item number 2 on the agenda is the roll call. So as I call your name, if you'd just like to say here or I or raise your hand. Alan Dutton is here. Denise Brown.
Here.
Gary Leeds.
Here.
Jeff Schweitzer, welcome.
There, thank you all.
Jeff, in my chairman's remarks, I'll just introduce you, and probably if you could just say a couple of words and say hello to us all.
Absolutely, sure.
Great. Thank you. Mary Burrell.
Here.
Richard Dellinger.
Here.
Gary Leeds.
I'm only here once.
Oh my God, sorry, I said twice. You jumped down. Okay, TJ Tramboli.
There.
Thank you all. We do have a quorum, so.
Alan, just to let you know, Robert Stowers had emailed me. He is running 15 to 20 minutes late, but he will be joining us. And Jerry Crowley is having internet problems, so he may not be able to join as well.
No problem. We do have a quorum.
And Alan, Jen is she's returning today. She will not be able to join us tonight.
Yes, I'm aware of that. Thank you. Well, thank you all for being here today. The third item on the agenda is the.
Hey, Alan, did you
Yep.
did you call Mary?
I did.
Oh, okay, I missed it.
I did call you Mary, right?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I know. Always a pleasure. Item 3 on the agenda is the acceptance of the minutes. Could I have a motion to accept the minutes, please?
So move.
Second,
No, second.
Gary Leeds motion, and Richard second. Discussion. So I'd like to lead the discussion on the acceptance of the minutes just to start with, if I may. We had 11 pages of minutes from our last meeting. Obviously, it was a long meeting. There was a lot discussed, and it took a long time, but I think there were a couple of important omissions that I'd like to bring to your attention for change. I did review the YouTube video, all 1 hour and 45 minutes of it, just to see, just to remind myself what actually happened, because there was a lot of discussion and actions taken. The final rate increase proposal was presented on the screen, and page 11 of the minutes states the motion to approve the rate changes, the policy changes, and the discount cards for 2025 as discussed. That doesn't make any sense to me. So the final rate increase proposal was presented on the screen, and coupled with the rate changes was a proposal to change the booking window from 9 to 8 days for the unlimited package holders. Those two items were voted upon by the authority, the approval of the rates as after much discussion, which are on the screen, and the proposal to take the unlimited package holders from 9 to 8 days was voted on by the authority, and both items were unanimously approved. And I would like that to be recorded in the minutes as such. And Mark, if you could just take a copy of the rate increases that were approved and send them to Telesco or to whoever is involved, so it goes in the minutes as a matter of record.
I will take care of that tomorrow morning.
That was the main change that I saw. Does any other member have any changes, any errors or omissions that need to be changed from last month's meeting? There being none, could we take a vote? If you'd all say aye or raise your hands to approve the minutes as amended. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Any opposed? Jeff, you don't need to vote on this, by the way. Any opposed? Abstentions? The minutes are amended as stated. Thank you. Reports. No, I'm sorry. Item number 4, public participation. Mr. Holliday, do we have anybody in the waiting room? Anybody with a hand up, Jim?
Jim, you're muted.
Jim, you're muted. Jim, you're on mute.
I'm no longer muted and no, we don't have anybody with their hand up.
Public participation is now closed. Item number 4 on the agenda, reports. Chairman's report of three quick items. I would like to welcome Jeff Schweitzer to our committee. Jeff, it's a pleasure to have you here with us. Thank you for joining us. If you'd just like to spend a couple of minutes just telling us briefly about yourself, that'd be great. Thank you.
Sure, happy to do it. Good evening, everybody. Jeff Schweitzer, lived over in the Rowayton part of Norwalk, a little over 20 years now. Moved here out of the city, I think probably around sort of 2000. Just, was looking to kind of get involved locally. I forget exactly who sort of put me on to the Oak Hills Park Authority, but I'm glad they did. And so to be here and look forward to helping out in any way that I can.
What type of background do you have, Jeff? Are you do you work in the city? Are you in finance or what?
Sorry, I should have probably mentioned. I work for the Guy Carpenter division of MMC. MMC is a sort of financial services company. One of the main things they're involved is in insurance and reinsurance broking. Guy Carpenter, which most people haven't heard of, is a reinsurance broker. I've worked for Guy Carpenter a little over 25 years now. My background is always been in the insurance field. Before Guy Carpenter, I worked for AIG for about 3 years, and don't practice it, but a million years ago, went to law school. I am a non-active member of the New York Bar, but really have just been in finance, principally the insurance part of it, for about 25 years.
Great, Jeff. It's a pleasure to have you on board. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome
Thank you.
aboard.
Thank you.
Are you a tennis player or Jeff? Are you a tennis player or golf player?
I am probably better at tennis, but I fairly recently have picked up golf. I'm sort of a kind of a recreational player. Been playing at Oak Hills for a number of years now. Very much enjoy the course over there. So
Good. Glad you did the tennis friends list.
Yeah.
Secondly, we're probably going to hear from Jim Shell about one of his staff members who's leaving us, and I think it does beg the question for us to have a little chat to discuss on wages and benefits, and where are we in the marketplace? Where should we be? How do we compare? We are doing, club is doing, the authorities do quite well financially, that we should be looking at what where we are with our employees. And I'm going to be having a discussion tomorrow with Jim and Jim just to look at this, but just to know that we will be just looking at these situations. Thirdly, Jim Holliday is in the final stages of finalizing an outing guideline. John had brought to us concerns from some of the outings last year, and we have acted upon that. We're acting upon that, putting together guidelines for anybody that wants to come and have an outing with us here on a Monday or Thursday. Food and beverage guidelines, what you can do, what you can't do, so that, you know, the Odeans will get the benefit, as they should, of the business that comes to us on a Monday. So we are in the position to be finalizing that. And that is my report. Next item under reports is John Lloyd. If you'd like to take the floor, John.
Hi, folks. Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Not a huge amount to report from Odean's. With the golf course closed down, we are midway through what everyone knew was going to be a rough winter for our first year. But there's all kinds of positive and encouraging indications that our situation is improving day on day. We've had a lot of private parties through the Christmas period, which all went well. Our second wedding at Oak Hills, a number of parties with venerable Norwalk institutions, and we're booking a lot of parties for their primarily baby showers and birthday parties for the first quarter of 2025. So the private party part of the business is looking positive. The restaurant business started off pretty rough in early January, but it's showing positive signs of an upward trend as our marketing really takes hold, and the word of mouth and the grapevine effect begins to, you know, reap its rewards. We've established a new menu and a new brunch, which is getting rave reviews, and we are beginning a winter season of live music at Oak Hills. So we'll be doing jazz on Sundays, every Sunday, and I think we have bands booked for most Saturdays through February, and looking into March and April. We're hopefully going to keep up the cadence through the year. But we've got Green Eyed Lady coming on Saturday. We're expecting a full house. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting next 8 weeks, I think, for us.
Any questions for John?
No question, but I saw the music blurb. I thought it would look really good and exciting. I was very happy to see you get it out there. I hope you have good attendance.
Yes, thank you. We've got a lot of reservations and we're excited.
Yeah.
John, if there's a band that's interested in playing at your facility, would I send them your way, or is there somebody that we should reach out to if they want to contact you?
So if they get in touch with anyone in the business, Marshall is the guy who's booking the music and kind of sorting through the calendar. Mm-hmm. So eventually, all of the inquiries, once they get filtered out, will end up with Marshall. But you know, either myself or Laurie or Barbara, any one of us would be happy to make an introduction.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
John, can I ask a question? Are any of these events, I mean, I've seen the emails, you know, announcing the bands, and Rich, maybe it's your email announcing the Australian party tomorrow. But I don't see anything on the website under restaurant about events or timing. Is that something that we could get on the website, or how's that work?
Whose website are you referring to, Gary?
Oak Hills.
Oh, the Oak Hills one. Yes, that's a good point. I know that they are using that material for direct mail, but it may not have gone on to the Oak Hills website. I know it's certainly on our website, the Odean's website.
Or at least put a link under restaurant to your site. Yes. And maybe in a block that just says, you know, that because we have blocks says see rates now and the course is open, blah, blah, blah. Maybe something is see events, you know, for the restaurant or something, and a link. But maybe that would help get some more attendance there.
That's a good call, Gary. Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions for John? John, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next up, Nature Advisory, Mary Rowe.
Okay. Can you hear me?
We certainly can.
Okay, good, because it's very muted on my machine, but I can hear you. Okay, so we had our meeting, and several things going on. We're moving ahead. The first item, where is it? Okay. I got it here. The first item, we have the alternative lawn in. Thank you, Jim. Shell brought in a truckload of soil, and Mike Papa, our landscaper, put in the alternative lawn mixture, and so we're just kind of waiting for it to come up in the spring, which will be very exciting, and we'll see how that goes. I can't find my notes. I just had them in front of me. The second thing was I met with Tulip Tree Design. I don't know if anybody knows Mike Mushak and David Westmoreland. And I brought him over there to look at the paths. And he's going to bring his crew in gratis and help us with that over by the dumpsters where it's so dangerous when you come up that path there. And we don't have to do steps, we don't have to do handrails. We can go around the big rock that's there. And we just need to put in some fill, and we're gonna bring the path around so it's not such a steep incline and decline. But we do want to continue to work on the path rejuvenation and have some ideas. So we're trying to locate, groups that might be able to work on it, youth groups. I met with Bob Stowers downtown, and he had some ideas for grants. And so Rich is helping us look at the grants, and we might be able to get some monies from some of these grants. And we're going to continue to look at that and continue to try to get some groups, be it youth groups or volunteers of some sort, to do some path rejuvenation and some new signage. We definitely need some new signage there. What else? The Norwalk Garden Club continues to be very active in helping us with the fountain garden. And they will continue to help us maintain that and replant that and such. I do have a question. We talked, I think I mentioned it early on, that perhaps in the winter is a good time to look at some of the natural areas outside of the tees and such. That's a good time to do some taking down of the vines and some of those invasives there. And so I'd like to kind of get that going. I'm not sure. Should I work with Tiz, or Jim? Who do I work with that? Do you have any who would I?
Which area are you talking about?
Well, Jim Holiday, he took me around to all of the tees, and beyond the tees are the natural areas. And especially, I'd like to start by that legacy tree, which is between, I forget
Right.
which tee it is, and the tennis court.
It's on the list.
Yeah. So I think this is, January, February is a really good time it's the only
Yeah.
time you can kind of get into some of these places and do that.
Yep.
And I was also wondering if I know there's Skeleton Crew, but if they have time, perhaps we could, start on some of the paths and just even delineate them. So the paths aren't even delineated. When I went in there in the fall, I got lost because I couldn't figure out where the paths were. So just to go in there and do a little rejuvenation, this is January, February, March is perfect time to do that.
Mary, I'm happy to volunteer as well, and I know those paths really well, so I can help out with that part. The tree stuff, probably not so much, but the paths I can definitely help.
Good. And the other thing is we did meet at Fodar Farm again. But one of the things that came up is, perhaps we should find some place, and I don't know if we could meet in the restaurant or if we meet somewhere else on the Oak Hills property, so that it would be easier for Mark and Tiz and, to join us. Because we're trying to do it during daylight hours again. Because it's several of the members, you know, this is when they want to meet. So that was one of my questions is, you know, is there any specific place that we could possibly meet, like in February? I think it was February 20th or something, like during the day. I scheduled it at noon so that perhaps, you know, the employees, you know, might be able to come.
Yeah,
So-
Mary, if we can't do it in the restaurant for any reason, we can do it probably in the old pro shop. There's a large space that we used to have a lot of old chairs that we could all sit on. I'll work with Jim Holiday on
That'd be
scrounging some up
great.
if we need to. Yeah.
That'd be great, because we want to accommodate you and Tiz.
Yeah,
So,
thank you.
you know, I can't think of anything else, and I can't find I talked about the grants. So we're moving ahead. The long-term plans, we're going to try to focus in on that in February. We really, you know, the holidays, we really couldn't do much, and we had our first meeting in January, and so that's that. I want to try to get a hold of the forester, Mr. Beers, and work a little bit with him on the master plan for the nature area, and that's in the works also. So, any questions?
Any questions for Mary?
Thanks for getting that alternative lawn in, Mary. That's really nice.
Well, I'm anxious to see what it's going to be like. It should be interesting.
Yeah,
And
right.
I see that they didn't send the bill in yet, but
Yeah, I just asked. Rich actually jogged my memory on that, and I sent that note out to Mike because he never sent anything. So
well, yeah, he called. I talked to him, and I said, okay, I'm going to put you in touch. Here's who you need, and so it's on him now.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mary.
Okay.
Let the record show that Robert Stowers has joined us. Welcome, Robert. That's 7:23. Thank you. Item D on the agenda, tennis. Denise.
Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's not too cold. This weather's been pretty nasty out there. But okay, so the report for tennis. So looking ahead for the tennis center, the long range planning, we had our first meeting in a couple of weeks ago. We started that. And for the long range planning committee, there's kind of like two goals that we're looking at. One is the long range view, which is which are meetings that we're going to have and discussions on tennis facility, which will go through, I think it's till the 2026. Is that correct? Gary, that's your date of
I'd like
looking
to
at that
be finished by the end of June of
at the end
26.
of June. Okay. And then the second part of the long range planning is really looking more of a short-term range for the tennis center, because there's a lot of things that are going to be coming up and changing this year. The contract will be ending for Kings Highway this August of 2025. So we need to look at what Oak Hills Tennis can offer for the future. I really feel that the tennis center is underutilized. And so I'd like to kind of see where we can go with some thoughts and some planning. Thank goodness we have the Friends of Tennis, because that keeps the courts active. We're able to raise money and complete projects. And so, the Friends of Tennis have been a very important part of the tennis facility, which we plan on continuing as far as, everything looks good there. But one of the things I'd like to look at is what kind of programs we could run and how we could run them and how they could generate some revenue. So that would be something that the group will talk about for the short-term plan. I say short-term planning, but I'm looking at the year of 2025 is what my goal is, and to kind of look at something that's going to maybe come to fruition during the summer into the fall. And one of the things is I was speaking with David Kamani, and he had a very good idea. He would like us to host a tournament through the USTA and have it be the Arthur Goldblatt Open Tournament and have it in his memory. He would help us with setting everything up, and he feels that the singles is probably the strongest for the tournaments for men, and women, we would probably offer a singles tournament. The reason he kind of doesn't want to get into a doubles tournament, it's more difficult with the partnering and trying to schedule. So, I mean, that's something we can talk about. He would like to do it. I thought that maybe a good idea would be doing it at the end of September. And, you know, it gives us the opportunity to work with grassroots. It really won't be grassroots kids, because if we do it through the USTA website, it has two benefits for us. One is that the USTA will promote the tournament through their website, and we can do all the registration through their website. And so it will reach out to everybody in Fairfield County. So it doesn't just limit us to people here in Norwalk, where we don't know how to reach out to people beyond Norwalk. So it would be an advantage to use that. Plus, you know, we want to be active with the USTA in some form. So I think that's a good thing to for us to promote. And Brian O'Rourke is the pro who ran the youth program. So he has some great ideas that we'll be talking about in the future. He's been coming to our meetings for the long-range planning. And the last thing I just wanted to mention is that I've been concerned with the way with the weather and the delay of the fencing for the tennis site. So I did reach out to Heather Blythe, who was our USTA grant representative, and she was wonderful. I just kind of explained to her that the materials came in late and that the weather's so bitterly cold. So we're kind of getting hung up here. We're trying to figure out, we don't know when the mesh will actually be installed. And she said, just keep her informed. She would grant us some leeway because we have an April 5th deadline that we were supposed to submit all the paperwork. So she was, very open to the fact that if we need some longer assistance time, that we would be able to achieve that. So I kind of feel a little bit better about that, just in case we run into more cold weather, rain, or whatever happens. So that's a good thing to know
Great.
for the fencing.
Thank you, Denise. Anybody, any questions for Denise? on the
Yeah,
tennis?
hey Denise, I just want to suggest, if you're going to do this tournament in September, that you work with John and figure out how there could be a food element also. That I don't know if he's, just, work that in, and maybe that'll help, both sides a little.
Probably something like that would be a food truck. I mean, the tournament, we have it would run for 3 days, but we could we can offer Odines as, in between when people are taking breaks and they're waiting for their next, when they advance to the next section, the next round rather, they could consider using Odines as someplace to be in between. So, maybe that would be great to have a little something that John could offer the players. You're right. Thank you.
Yeah, just, work it in. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Denise. Item E, supporters of Oak Hills Park, Jerry Crowley. Mark, did you say Jerry's?
He's watching as a guest, and he said he has no report though. All I'll say is that January is when Jerry and I get together. We go over all of it, because unfortunately, even though the supporters of Oak Hills is on a fiscal June 30th fiscal year, just like Oak Hills, we send out thank you letters for tax purposes on a calendar year for obvious reasons.
Yep.
So we get together and we go through all of the donations for the year, and then Jerry is kind enough to volunteer to write up all of the thank you letters. So that's going to happen in the next 2 weeks.
Jerry, if you're listening, thank you. And we'll look forward to hearing from you next month. Next item is item F, long-term planning. Gary Leeds.
Okay, well, I really don't have much to report. I think, as we've heard from Mary and Denise, just a little activity occurring during the holiday season. I'm going to be away for the rest of January, so I think we'll start putting things together next month and hopefully have more information at the next meeting.
Thank you, Gary. Any questions for Gary? Okay, now the reports from our professionals. Item G, Paul, golf professional.
All right, well, thank you. Well, so it's been really cold, and obviously it's not golf weather. Very slow at the golf course. The carts were put away late December. Typically our winter rates $20 to walk, and the course is open 10 to 3. We have 6 people on staff in the golf shop. They're all working 1 day apiece, and we have 2 outside if we need them. Anyway, our 4UP upgrade is complete, and the transition with the software and the POS and the tee sheet's been great. Steve Shepard has been a really instrumental help to us, and it's going to really make it a lot easier for our staff, a lot easier for the members. We're going to get a lot better support I think we have had in the past, and it's going to save us some money. And so over the winter, even though it's slow, our complete golf shop staff, including Jim Holiday and myself, have been doing a little training. So everyone's really going to get ready to go as soon as late March hits. And, 4UP is great. They're the first cloud-based tee sheet software. They have 23 courses under their umbrella. I think they're definitely progressive and good company. So it's fairly exciting there. We did sell 42 passes and 150 memberships already. We have 21 outings penciled in for 2025. So I think that shows the excitement for golf and the strength of the game right now. And we're just really riding the wave since COVID, and it's been really helpful and healthy these last few years. So there's definitely still a strong demand. Next week, I'm going to go to the PGA show, and it's our yearly show for all PGA professionals. And that's where I met some of the people at 4UP. I just wanted to say thank you to the 121 company. And I didn't realize 4UP is their parent company. So that's how the relationship started. That was 51 weeks ago. I'll be going there next week. I'm going to try to find out something new and different and hopefully bring something else back to Oak Hills. But anyway, 2024 was great. It was really a good year. Things are really going good at Oak Hills. We have a great staff. I want to say that in any business, I think we're going to have 100% of our staff returning next year. And I think that really says a lot about people who work for us and how much they love Oak Hills. So really looking forward to next year. I think things are going to be great. Thank you.
Any questions for Paul?
Alan, if I may, I'd just like to make one correction. Paul, you indicated that 4UP has 23 courses under management. I think you meant to say 2,300.
Yeah, 2,300. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Slight difference.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Next item, we have Superintendent Jim Shell. Jim, take it away.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Everything is well with the course. We have no major worries other than springtime freeze thaw conditions that could cause damage on the greens. Otherwise, we're pretty much in the clear for winter damage for many types. We have been busy removing invasive trees from the course, and there's been a couple trees that had suffered storm damage in previous years that have been taken down, and there are a few that are in critical spots that had needed to be removed, and I'm also in the process of getting those down. I'm counting on Rich Dillinger's promise of a certain amount of money to do some plantings over near the tennis courts and on the 11th hole. And I'm really hoping that it's still there. I am in the process of receiving quotes for that. We have found a nice species that will go between the white pines and the tennis fence, which will not be, it won't be hindered by shade. And it much resembles, if anybody's familiar with the cypress tree at the bag drop, it resembles that kind of look. And it's supposedly it grows a foot a year, which is a pretty fast grower, and it should be good. And of course, Alan had mentioned the staffing issue that we're gonna be trying to tackle. We're gonna have a meeting tomorrow, and hopefully we can figure out how to go forward on that. And that's my report.
Jim, do you know what kind of tree it is?
Which?
The one that you want to put over by the tennis?
You know what? He told me the exact name. I can't remember it at the moment, but as soon as I get the quote, I'll send it out to everybody.
Okay. I'd be interested to know what it is.
It will be on there.
Okay, thanks.
Mark, I'm sorry, Jim, Mark can verify there's over $6,000 in that account, so, but what's the
Nice.
timeline? Reese, what do you think is the timeline?
When the ground thaws? That's all I can, that's all I can
Springtime?
say. I mean,
Springtime?
yeah,
So March, April,
probably.
hopefully? Okay,
Probably next week, we're looking at some bitter cold temperatures and
Yeah.
we're gonna, we're looking at some time before any warm weather's coming.
great. Thank you very much for doing that.
Hey, Jim, did you talk to Robert about the town possibly having any money for helping us with trees?
In fact, I did not. Robert, you're on the spot.
In what respect, Gary, what are you talking about with the question?
I know that the town is doing some canopy planting and stuff like that. Might there be anything that you could help the course out with?
Possibly. We had that $1 million urban grant, and there's a lot of work we have to do under that. And of course, even though a lot of the work is going to take place in South Norwalk, we're concerned with the whole canopy of the whole city. So,
Right.
Sarah's kind of been working with you guys a little bit, and so we'll see what we can do. I mean, we would like to listen to what the needs are and see how we can help.
Okay.
Did
Yeah.
someone say $1 million?
Yeah,
Well,
go-
it's $1 million grant, but it encompasses a lot and a lot of education sessions with the public about trees and tree inventory, finish our tree inventory, and then planting plan around the city, and that's where we a planting and then a maintenance because we've been concentrating on planting trees, not so much concentrating on taking care of them. And so that's what Sarah is very interested in that. That's what I'm interested in. So yeah, we can find a way to do something, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Jim, I have one
Yes.
more. How big or tall of a tree are you looking at to put in?
Between the ones closest to tennis are probably going to be 6 to 8 feet.
6 to 8 feet?
So when the pines fade away, there should be a decent replacement ready to go there, if you know what I'm saying. I
And
mean, the pines aren't going to live forever.
Uh-huh.
They're getting old, and we've already lost a couple here and there. So
Sounds like all of us.
Thank you, Denise, for those few kind words.
So, I mean, I was just wondering, does the height of the tree that you can purchase obviously depends on the amount of money you have to spend, right?
oh,
I mean,
definitely. I
definitely.
mean,
So,
you
yeah,
could spend $20 and get one that's a sapling, seedling.
exactly, right. So,
Jim, how tall will they eventually get?
Up to 60.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
wow. Okay.
Maybe they'll be too tall and too much shade.
For the tennis courts?
No,
Yeah.
never enough shade.
And when you the first tee or eighth tee will be ready for play, or the bunker surrounds so people don't tear that.
Kind of hard to predict right now. The ground is frozen. I got no way to judge any kind of root growth or anything like that. So
Could be into late April.
we don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, 8 probably when I open the rest of the tees, but number 1 probably not. We'll see.
And Jim, are you gonna start repositioning the tee on 11 this year?
That is going to be in the bunker quote for
Okay,
this coming fall, which
right.
I did request another company to give a quote just for competition's sake, for keeping everybody honest. And so I am awaiting those quotes, and I was told that I didn't actually need the city to be involved this time around. since we did have a satisfactory completion of a job, whatever it was, whatever the reason is, I don't know. But I decided we needed a second one anyway.
Okay.
Jim,
Hey.
did you, for Denise and for those who are concerned with the growth of the trees, I believe you told me those trees have potential to grow about a foot a year.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions for Jim?
Well, we're gonna put a couple of trees in on the corner of 11, like by the fairway.
Yes. That the tennis donation is going to be helping us with that one. Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Jim. Next item is our controller, Mark. Take it away.
All right. I'll start by just building on what Paul said earlier about how we're doing very well with our membership sales. You know, last year for the entire month of January, we sold 102 discount ID cards, and for the first 16 days, thank you, Jim Holiday, for sending out stats today. We've sold 157 already in half a month. So we're on course to sell early, and it's amazing how many people have been coming in, especially with the weather being this cold. Last year we were open for play. We had a lot more play last year, so it is surprising. I think a lot of people are doing it online. It's a little bit easier, and I think Steve did a great job of sending out kind of instructions on how to do everything, and our players are doing that. So it's a very good sign. I sent out preliminary information on Monday. I've got some updates. This includes just a few adjustments I made, as well as the quarterly utilities allocation that we bill to Odines or any of our restaurateurs for the months of October 1st through December 31st. But it does not include, we do not have the revenue share yet, which is also quarterly. We get 5% of Odines net revenue based on a few different parameters. So I can't give out finals yet. I usually send them to Denise and Alan to review. So once I get that, I will send that out. But just a couple of quick updates. The preliminary December month, our net operating income is $24,000 under budget. Again, you know, the month itself, the revenue was just really down. It was all revenue. We were closed. You know, it only snowed a little bit, but it hung around for days and days. It's just been bitterly cold, and that definitely has had an effect. For the year to date, I made a mistake here in the third paragraph. I apologize. It says here, while expenses are $120,000 over budget, that is a typo. We were $20,000 over budget. We've never been so much over. So we were $20,000. We're now only $7,000, mainly because of that utilities adjustment, which reduces our utilities expense and put it as a receivable until we get paid. And again, that leaves a year-to-date net operating income of $129,000 over budget and $60,000 over prior year. So we're doing very good. I believe, and don't hold me to this, it's just my off the cuff. I believe December was the only month this year that we had revenues below budget and below prior year. And last year, I think we had at least 10 or 11 months that we beat budget. So if there's ever going to be a month that you're gonna go have a bad month, let it be December, January, February. I mean, you know, we're talking about a few $1,000s here, not a big deal. And this is the time it makes sense. It's winter. The last thing I'll say, the most important part, is that after nearly 3 weeks without heat, I now have heat in my office. Thank you to Jim Holiday for being my steward and hearing me whine to him every day. When's the heat coming on? When's the heat coming on? It has been cold, and today I pumped that bad boy up to 74 degrees, and I was nice and toasty.
Thanks for saving us money. Thanks for saving us a little money.
No problem. I take one for the team.
Thank you. Questions for Mark?
Mark, do you think you need to tap on any of the reserve or any of the loan?
The
Line of credit, sorry.
The line of credit, no, we definitely won't need that. If anything, I would transfer money over from Bankwell or even Chase if we needed to break the CD there. But the benefit of the way it sets up is, you know, when memberships go on sale on January 1st, you know, the annual passes are several $1,000s each, and we sold 42 of those. And the regular discount cards are, you know, several hundred each, and we sold, I think I just said 157. So that January, February money really does pay
Get you over the hump.
it really does. It does a great job of filling in that missing revenue. And we've had more expenses, or I should say more payments than normal this fall and winter because of the bunker project and a few other things that have come due. So we were going down. It was definitely a downward spiral, and it has really kind of hovered. So for now, I'm watching it. We're fine. If it gets down below $100,000, I may think to transfer some over. But as of now, we are good to go.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any further questions for Mark? So we've definitely been on a good run, you know, but Mother Nature has been very kind to us these last year, months, whatever. So let us be
Law of
prepared
averages.
for the future. Let's I don't want to jinx it, guys, but you know, weather is a lot to do with how we fare, especially revenue-wise in a golf course.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Next item, Venerable General Manager, Mr. Holliday. James.
Thank you, Alan. First of all, you're talking about weather. I've just been looking down at the list of things that I spent my time on this past month, and 25%. We have 5 heating systems. Some are older, some are brand new, and I spent about 25% of my time working on the various different heating systems. And of course, I'm not working on them, but I'm working my Rolodex to make sure that these systems are working well. Unfortunately, as Mark pointed out, we had 2 repairs required for the air handlers above his office, and he has been a rock star to put up with the cold, because there were some days where the temperature was 37 degrees in his office. I'll also go back to you know, Jim Shell. Also, there's a new furnace installed in the maintenance building this past year, and the job didn't go as well as we would have liked. It was great delays, but he's got a nice warm building as well. In addition to that, I've spent about 35% of my time on maintenance issues, about 20% of them on operations, 10% on tennis, and 10% on miscellaneous items. Of particular note, I would just like to piggyback what Paul said relative to the implementation of our new software known as 4UP. We appointed Steve Shepard as the project manager for this implementation because of his skill set, because of his energy, and because of his unbelievable dedication to Oak Hills Park. We cannot say enough about what he has done. I can't, Paul can't, Mark can't. We've all been involved in training. The Pro Shop staff has been training. He's been in the Pro Shop every single day. He provides enormous communication to Paul, Mark, and I about what he's doing, getting our approval on every step of the way. It's truly amazing. And for those of you that don't know, Steve Shepard and all of his gifts is a volunteer. Steve Shepard works full-time for Oak Hills Park. And he is not interested in compensation. So anytime any of you see Steve, and many of you know Steve well, that man puts forth an incredible effort. He is thorough. He is really competent. He's smart beyond my understanding. And I just cannot say enough about what he has done for golf operations and Paul and I and Mark. As usual, I list the things that I've been doing during the month, and they're all very mundane, but they are necessary. That's a wrap. Thank you.
Thank you, James, for those kind words, especially about Steve. Any questions for Jim Holliday?
Oh, I just want to say also, Jeff, welcome aboard.
Okay. Wow. Item 6 on the agenda is old business. Does anybody have any old business to bring before the authority? No old business. Item number
Hey,
7 on the agenda.
Alan?
Yes,
Alan, I'm
Gary.
sorry, I was muted and forgot to. Yeah, can I just bring up pace of play again and ask Paul if he could come up with some proposals for that between now and the March meeting?
Of course.
You know, we kept some really good records of pace of play, and I just don't think it's as slow as people think. Maybe in the afternoon it gets a little slow, but you know, in the mornings when you play, it's pretty quick. And you got to remember, it's a public golf course. And the end of the day, it gets the golfers aren't quite as good. It's a tough golf course, especially those 6 holes. There's lots of movement up and down, left and right, fescue. We don't have a range for people to warm up on. So it's an issue though, getting people going those first 6 holes. And I really believe it's one reason why the architect originally started the golf course on 7 because of the flow. But you know, it's a process at any club. It's a tough job, contrary to what anyone thinks about being a ranger. But we're going to definitely address that and really do our best to keep a good pace of play.
Yeah,
So Paul, it might make sense just to put down in an ideal world, and we know we don't live in an ideal world, what would be some of the things that we would be looked to do if we wanted to increase our pace of play in an ideal world? Just to put them down on a piece of paper that we could probably share and talk about.
We have it all written down. It's just a matter of making it happen and getting some golfers to.
Well, maybe we could, we could just, send it out to all of us. And we could take a look at it. Maybe we could discuss it. If not at the next meeting, maybe the meeting after, so that we keep it on the burner. Okay.
But if anybody wants, we'd be glad to share our pace of play records, and I think it's a lot better than most people will think.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful, Paul. I mean, Richter sent out just their newsletter, and I happened to go and look, and they have a published policy on pace of play. I don't know if we do, but those are the types of things I'm talking about. Yeah, and you're absolutely right. We have to enforce it. So, but yeah, you're right. When I play early in the morning, yeah, I play some rounds in under 4 hours. Absolutely.
We'll put maybe some helpful hints on pace of play on our website. People can just look at.
Those are the things I'm thinking about. Okay. And it would be good to have a record of it to be able to tell people, this is our pace of play. And years ago, what I remember is our scorecards had, on it at the end of each hole or whatever, how many, what the time was that you should be from your tee off, and got to a 4 hour and 24 minute round.
I've got rid of that because a guy like you likes to play less than 4 hours. If we put, you can play in 4 hours and 34 minutes. The first thing that golfer says to the ranger is, well, it says 4 hours and 34 minutes. And then what can we say after that? You can say,
I'm fine. I'm fine with that. If somebody's playing in 4 hours and 24 minutes, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't complain. If they're on that and we decide that's our norm, then I don't have a problem with any of that. I'm just saying I'd just like to address the issue and try and keep our rounds so we're close to what we feel is the pace that we want people to be playing at.
I agree. Very
Okay.
important, especially nowadays.
Thank you. Any other issues on old business? Item number 7 on our agenda. Any new business? Anything else they'd like to bring in front of the authority at this particular meeting?
Yes, Alan, I would. I'd like to ask the authority for a motion to approve Denise Brown in her capacity as treasurer to oversee and sign any paperwork needed for the renewal of Oak Hills Park Authority's line of credit with Norwalk Bank and Trust. I spoke with our bank's VP this week, and he said in order to get everything moving, this is the time of year, we do this every year, we just need this approved and in the minutes. So I'd like to just say to the secretary who's taking notes from Telesco, just to make sure that this is clearly, my comments are clearly listed, as well as the results of the upcoming vote, that they need to be in the minutes for this to be approved by the bank.
So I would like to move the motion that Mark has just spoken about. Do we have, to move the motion, can we have someone to propose that, please?
So proposed.
Gary, can we have a seconder?
Second.
Okay.
All those in favor of the motion as spoken to by our controller, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Abstentions? The motion is carried.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Anything else on the new business? Well, I guess if we did an hour and 3/4 last month, we're under an hour this month, so I've given a little bit back to you. So thank you. Thank you all, by the way, for the time that you give up for because we're all volunteers, and some of us, it takes a little more time than others, but I do appreciate all of you and your input. Thank you for what you do. I will now entertain a motion to adjourn. Do I have a proposer?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you all. See
Thank
next
you. Good
month.
night.
Thank you. Good
Well,
night.
thank you all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Safe travels, Gary.
Thank you.
Good night.